Hey everybody, I'm on top of, this is called Garden Peak, and we're overlooking the Cheung district of Hong Kong, which is where I grew up actually. But this video is not really about that, it's about this phone. This is the Vivo X60 Pro Plus. Now for those of you who follow my channel, you will know that I already covered this phone about a month ago, but that was the China version. This is the global unit that's going to be going on sale in Southeast Asia and also in Europe. So in that last video, I focused mainly on that 50 megapixel main camera with that Zeiss sensor, which Vivo co-engineered with Zeiss. I also focused on Origin OS, which is a China-only software. That was really funky. So for this global unit, I'm not going to focus so much on the main camera, but I'll still cover it. But instead, I'm going to spend the bulk of my attention on the ultra wide-angle camera. This is a 48 megapixel sensor, and it's built on top of that gimbal camera system that Vivo introduced with last year's X60 Pro. So this gimbal camera system basically has the camera sensor on top of a floating mechanism that helps stabilize movements. Now, it's not gonna do miracles. It's not gonna be way better than the EIS you already get from an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, but it will do a good job of stabilizing this little shaky movement right here. This is called the Z-axis movement. This happens when you're holding the phone, usually with one hand, and you're walking kind of fast, or when you're climbing up stairs. So in the video footage I'm about to show you, pitting the ultra wide angle footage of this phone against the iPhone 12 and the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, you'll see that for the most part, if I'm just walking in a straight line, stabilization look very similar. But as soon as I run, or if I'm climbing stairs, walking on uneven surfaces, you'll see the Vivo X60 Pro Plus's footage is a little bit more fluid compared to the iPhone 12 and the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Conversely, if I jump back to the main camera, which does not have the gimbal technology, now if I do this, you can see the viewfinder shake a little bit more than on the ultra wide angle camera. But let's put it to the test. So I'm gonna go for a walk and a run. Okay, so that was the ultra wide angle. Now I'm gonna do the same run with just the main camera. So keep in mind, the main camera does not have that gimbal technology. So I'm gonna do a pan, crane up, and I'm gonna walk. So this is the ultra wide angle camera. So the ultra wide angle camera is pretty good, right? It also captures some really clean photos too. Because it's a 48 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor, so it keeps up details quite nicely with the 50 megapixel main camera. Now you may be thinking, I said the same thing about the Oppo Find X3 Pro. Well, yeah, that's just something that BBK, the parent company of Oppo, Vivo, and OnePlus are doing. They're giving the ultra wide angle camera a lot of attention so that there's not as much of a drop off. With most other phones, whether it's an iPhone, Samsung Galaxy, a Xiaomi, the main camera quality is up here and then the ultra wide drops off here. With BBK phones, Vivo, Oppo, and pretty soon the OnePlus 9 Pro, the main camera is here, then the ultra wide angle camera is here. It's closer in quality. Okay, now let's talk about the main camera. So I already made a previous video about a month and a half ago when I tested the China version of this phone. I already tested the camera quite a lot, so I can just tell you right now, this is a 50 megapixel Samsung GN1 sensor with a 1/1.3 inch image sensor size. So it's really large, so it pulls in a lot of light. In fact, in a pitch black room, the Vivo X60 Pro Plus pulls in more light than the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra if I don't turn on night mode. So I'm just talking about with night mode off, point and shoot. If you do turn on night mode, then the playing field evens a little bit, but that's the case with every phone. You know, night mode is a software trick that you do to bring in more light. But for night mode, you generally have to keep still for 2 seconds to get that shot. So that doesn't always work. If you're trying to shoot a picture of a dog, you know, a dog's not gonna stay still for 2 seconds. In a city, you're gonna see a lot of people moving in and out. It's gonna look blurry. Even though night mode's cool, I prefer a main camera that can still pull in a lot of light without night mode. And the Vivo X60 Pro Plus is one of the best for now, up there with the Huawei Mate 40 Pro and the Huawei Mate X2. All right, now let's talk about this Zeiss co-branding here. So according to Vivo, Zeiss, which is a German maker of camera lenses, they visited Vivo's office where they examined Vivo's production line for camera lenses, and they kind of worked together to fine-tune the sensor to match Zeiss's quality. And what Zeiss also did is it allowed Vivo to use its T-coating technology. So this is all according to Vivo and Zeiss. Obviously, I'm not gonna break open the phone to check for myself, but there's a special T-coating over the main camera that reduces glare a little bit. And I do see that. For example, in this side-by-side shot between the Xiaomi Mi 11, you'll see that the Xiaomi Mi 11 blows out the sun a little bit, whereas the T-coating here did manage to reduce the kind of stray lights that's coming from the sun so that the camera sensor can expose the sun a little bit more properly. Now, Vivo's camera system is pretty smart too. For example, the camera will know when you're bringing something up close and it'll automatically switch to the macro sensor. You see, it just did that right there. Now, the Vivo X60 Pro Plus also has 2 zoom cameras. You have a 32 megapixel 2x telephoto zoom lens that grabs really sharp 2x zoom. And then when you jump to 5x is a 8 megapixel periscope zoom lens. Now, this is just a 5x optical zoom, so it's not as nice as what you get from the Galaxy S21 Ultra or the Huawei Mate X2, but it still does a really good job. There are over a dozen more camera modes to play with too. In fact, like I said, maybe a little bit overwhelming to the average user. Like, you just cycle through the main, there's already so many options, right? You jump into more, there's also Pro Sports, Super Moon, slow motion, live photo, AR stickers, Astro mode, double exposure. A lot of them, I don't even know what they do. Like Pro Sports, I'm assuming that's just faster shutter speed. Double exposure is this weird thing where you can shoot something in front of you and behind you. So right now, one of the modes that is very fun to play with is slow shutter. So I'm gonna tap on flow of traffic right now. Now if I just zoom into the shot, you see that the light trails of the moving vehicles all the way down there. So usually if you want to take this type of photo, you need a camera, you need to put it on a tripod, long exposure. You can now do it handheld. Now there's a 32 megapixel selfie camera on the front, and overall I find the selfie camera to be a little bit lacking. Like you see right now, it's really struggling with light just because I'm standing behind, you know, a harsh backlight right here and some weird lights up there. But during the day, selfies turn out sharp and fine. And one thing with Vivo phones is they go a little bit overboard by providing you with features. So for example, it's right now in the portrait mode in the selfie camera. If you tap on style, you have a lot of different pre-built filters right here, like close to a dozen. Then you back out, you tap into beauty, and then you have full on beauty mode right here. That allows you to do, you know, the usual weird stuff like make your eyes bigger, make your skin whiter, make your face a little bit skinnier. Like basically these are all Western Caucasian beauty standards that I think is unhealthy to tell Asian people. Like, you should not tell like someone in Southeast Asia with darker skin that they should want to have lighter skin, right? Or larger eyes. But you know, it's a cultural thing. So overall, I'm a big fan of the Vivo X60 Pro Plus's camera system. Yeah, it's a little bit gimmicky in some parts, but for the most part, it nails all the basics. It gives you pretty respectable zoom. It's excellent during nighttime photography. During the day, it's gonna be fine. Video stabilization obviously is excellent. So yeah, there's not much I can complain other than the fact that, oh, it's a little bit gimmicky in some area. Okay, let's take a look at the software. So this phone runs FunTouch OS version 11 over Android 11. So that Origin OS that I demoed in the China retail unit, it's not in this phone. That's not a big issue though. I quite like FunTouch OS now. It's not better than Color OS or Oxygen OS, but it's much improved over how FunTouch OS used to be. It used to be really weird. Like, you have to swipe up from the bottom to bring up the notification shortcut toggle, like these buttons here. You used to have to swipe up from the bottom to get that. Now, it's not the case. You access this by swiping down, You swipe up for the app tray. You have every feature that you would want in an Android phone in 2021, like double tap to turn off the screen, double tap to turn on the screen, and you have a lot of shortcut features like swipe up with 3 fingers to activate split screen multitasking. If there's one complaint I have with this software right now is that there is no way to open apps in a floating window mode. So the best you can do in terms of multitasking is split screen. Alright, now in terms of battery life, the Vivo X60 Pro Plus only has a 4200 mAh battery, which is a little bit smaller than what you find in most of the other modern day flagship phones. But you have to keep in mind, this phone does not have Quad HD resolution. It only has 1080p resolution. So because of that, I find that battery life on this phone is really good. It's better than the battery life on the Oppo Find X3 Pro or the Xiaomi Mi 11, because both of those phones I run at 120 Hz at Quad HD resolution. This phone I run at 120 Hz but at 1080p resolution. So on average, if I step out in the morning like at 9-10 a.m. and I stay out all the way till past dinner time, I will still come back and have like 20% battery life left. So this is definitely above average battery life. It's enough to last one full day for me. Now there's a 55-watt charging brick that comes with the phone in the packaging too, and it charges the phone relatively fast. You can go from 0 to 100 in about like 30 to 33 minutes. Now this is still slower than what I'm used to from Oppo phones though. That 65-watt fast charging, it's crazy fast, and also Xiaomi's 120 watt. But hey, 55 watt is still really damn fast. Much better than what we get from Samsung or Apple. Now in terms of overall hardware, I like it a lot. You know, I'm a fan of the leather back. I like it better than plastic back obviously, and even glass back too. I just think leather feels pretty nice. But unfortunately, it does miss some of the flagship flourishes that we've been expecting, that we've been getting from like the Oppo Find X3 Pro or the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. The first is that this phone only has a single bottom firing speaker. I mean, it gets pretty loud, but it's also a little bit flat because it only comes off of one side, and you can muffle it with just one finger. The second is there is no wireless charging or IP water resistance rating in this phone. So both of these are features that we got from the Oppo Find X3 Pro, but we don't get here. I don't know the price of the Vivo X60 Pro Plus yet, but if we're going by the price in China, this phone is gonna retail for less than what Oppo is charging for the Find X3 Pro, and obviously what Samsung's charging for the Galaxy S21 Ultra. So if you ask me personally, I would sacrifice stereo speakers and wireless charging and water rating just to shave like $100 to $200 US off the price. Now, that's me. I'm not much of a water person. You know, I don't go to the beach every weekend, so I don't need water resistance rating. But there are some people who love going to the beach all the time, then this might be a problem for them. So for me, I really like the Vivo X60 Pro Plus. Now, honestly speaking though, I do like Xiaomi software better than Vivo software, and I think the Oppo Find X3 Pro has a better ultra-wide-angle camera and a better screen than the Vivo X60 Pro Plus. So is this phone better than the recent Android flagships I tested? I can't say flat out it's better than those phones, but if the price is right, or if you particularly want to shoot a lot of moving videos, the Vivo X60 Pro Plus is worth looking into. This is a really elegant design with a gimbal camera system that mostly works if you actually are doing something extreme, like shooting yourself while walking up a bunch of stairs or running full speed. So anyway, that's about it for this review of the Vivo X60 Pro Plus. I hope I explained everything you guys were looking for. If I'm missing anything, feel free to ask in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, or follow me on Instagram at Ben's Gadget Reviews. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching.